most divisive issues in the world today is that of land use and development. Not to belittle that struggle, but it seems that we spend an extraordinary amount of time considering the abuses of industry and of populations. And it's with that in mind that we've come down to the beautiful north arm of the Fraser River here, specifically in South Vancouver at the foot of Kerr Street Hill, in front of land that used to be all industrial here. I know for a fact that they made concrete here, and I know from bitter experience that just up there they made bricks, because I worked there when I was 16 years old. What we see now and what we see taking shape is a project on behalf of the Vancouver Parks Board and the City of Vancouver to create a beautiful and livable land space.
It's a brand new item. It was never necessarily in the history of this area, but piers have always had a very special reason and a very special romance. They focus location, they focus purpose. They put you out on a water body. You don't make a mistake about going out on a pier. It's a very deliberate action for a very deliberate reason, and therefore they have a special connotation and a special reason for people wanting to have them and wanting to go there. This clearly defines the foot of Kerr Street. And once we start getting some development around here and some buildings around here, this will become a spot that people can identify just by name. It will be the pier, not just any pier. It'll be the pier for this part of town. To me, a community or a city is defined by its edges. And one of the great things about this city is the amount of edge that is waterfront, and the particular ability to take a pier and go out to the end and look back and get a true sense of that waterfront and of the city edge and of what is potentially, and has made this city great is something special. We won't get that walking along the waterfront itself. It's something about the breadth of vision that you can get going out somewhere and then looking back. Well, the city in the last, I guess, 3.5 years has been very consciously looking at the leftover industrial lands within the city, those that no longer have the necessary economic whatever it takes to keep going, and are looking at converting those sites to residential. So not only is it this piece of the Fraser, but it's the areas of Joyce and Van Ness, it's the Molson's Brewery in Kitsilano. So this is just part of a larger theme, which is taking back uneconomic industrial land and turning it into residential now. And it's also taking back our edge, our shoreline, which is a long-supported policy by all political bodies in Vancouver, that we recover as much of the shoreline of the city as possible and turn it back to public space that people can meander, can enjoy, and get a sense of what the edge of our city is, because it's that edge that in many ways makes it great.
How do we end up paying for it?
It's a combination of things. The city acts as land developer and will actually, quote, make a profit in the process of selling those development rights in those sites, which it then plows back into the public amenities that surround it. Further down, we'll look at a yet-to-be-developed site where we took money from our capital plan, which the public votes on every 3 years, and we went out and we bought industrial property with that capital money, and we will in turn take more capital money and develop it into a park. So in this case, it's an interesting marriage of the city as developer and the park board fulfilling its conventional role of going out and seeking opportunities to buy land in what we would call transitional or developing areas where we know the human density is going to go up, and therefore we better corral some space for their mutual benefit as quickly as we can before too much of it gets built up and we can no longer afford to go back in there and do anything.
Did you go to Piers R Us and they gave you this, or was there something in mind here when they created this upper level here, and
no,
even the little glass down at the end, the plexiglass down through there?
The plexiglass is here as a repeat of a procedure we went through at Portside Park in the Burrard Central Waterfront, or more commonly known as Crab Park, where we got rid of this kind of stuff so that somebody in a wheelchair who comes through, whose eye level is here, is not going to see simply the fortification of a great rail. You can actually look out and appreciate the water's edge just as we can when we stand and look above the rail. Similarly, the idea of putting this podium up is that so you and I can go up here and sit down, and our eye level is now above this rail, because there is a God and he has a wicked sense of humor, and it is that the National Building Code railing height conventionally is exactly at eye level for the normal person sitting on a seat, and therefore we could have totally destroyed the ability to really enjoy this pier if we'd simply put a bunch of conventional park benches there. So we built this little dais up for doing exactly what we're doing now, and we made it three-sided so the three most important views could be enjoyed. Now we've put that leaning edge on it for two reasons. If you're a fisherman, it's nice, it's comfortable, or even just a contemplator. That fits your elbows perfectly, it's nice to lean on and just stare out on the river. The other nice thing about it is it's a little difficult for the bold and the brave to actually walk on the edge,
right,
on a dare or on whatever basis, and hence end up in the drink on us. It's a great opportunity, and it's incredible psychological breathing room. I mean, we could have had buildings only 50 feet behind us, but this will always feel spacious. And it's that borrowed or stolen space that comes from being able to look across water, I think, that makes urban living very much less stressful for a lot of people.